I refuse to choose between my children and my husband. I love my husband and I love my kids. Throughout our marriage, Joe has been arrested at least 4 times for domestic abuse. He would pull me by the hair and punch me in the head. Joe would whip the kids with the belt or his hand. I saw him hit my son with a shot bagpipe once. Our son Ezekiel died March of 2007. Joe swears he was not drunk when Ezekiel died. I do not believe it. Part of me does blame Joe for Ezekiel's death. Then, just 2 years ago, my 10-year-old son died. Dom died from an overdose of hydrocodone and sepsis. I worked night shifts. When I came home, Dominic was really pale and had bluish purple dots all over his whole body. I took my shower and took a nap. I'm asleep, and then Joe is with Dom in the bathroom. And then Joe sat Dom in the chair next to our bed, and he yelled at me that something was wrong with Dominic. I threw him on the end of the bed and started CPR, but it was too late. I do not blame me or my husband for Dom's death. When Joe was taken to jail, the kids went to foster care. My children should not have been removed. They were never in danger. I stay with Joe because I believe he does love me, and I believe he can change.
Now, Jennifer's daughter, Emily, says life in their home was constant chaos. She was covered in bruises because her father would freak out over nothing, and her mother rarely protected her because she was too tired to deal with it. Let's hear from her.
I did not have a good childhood. I was abused by my father. The abuse was daily. He beat all of his kids and my mom. One night, he came in my room and started hitting me with a belt. He repeatedly told me to get out of his house and to leave. I was kicked out of the house. I don't like to seem like I'm throwing my dad under the bus, because he's not all bad. It's a thing, I always forgive him. I love my dad more than anything.
Okay, Jennifer, Emily, I'm glad you're here. Did you see him abusing your children?
Yes.
And did he abuse you?
Yes.
Why are you so focused on getting him out of jail?
Our property is in his name, and I can't get money for a criminal lawyer unless he co-signs, so I don't go to prison.
You say that he's pulled your hair and punched you in the head, and you say he punches you in the head so it doesn't leave bruises.
That was when he was drinking. He quit drinking in 2008.
Was he drinking when Ezekiel died?
Yes.
Do you have suspicions that that contributed to his death?
I did till I talked to the coroner.
And the coroner can't explain it, so the default is SIDS.
Right. There was no sign of suffocation.
And you understand that that's a default, right?
Right.
Answer me this. Why was it okay with you for him to abuse your children?
How could I stop him?
Leave him. Don't go back to him.
Let's talk about the abuse here, because we have a list of allegations of abuse according to Rebecca, that he's beat her with a paddle, chased his son across the house and beat him. Did he actually talk you into and force you into beating your son with a belt?
Yes.
You didn't want to do this, did you?
No.
And he talked you into picking up a weapon and attacking your child.
Yes.
Does that tell you that something is way to hell out of whack with your soulmate?
Yes.
And then according to Emily, that he beat the children daily, hit with a belt, had bruises all over back and legs, hit, slapped, punched, had things thrown at her, backhanded for saying one wrong word.
He would not just beat her. He would actually physically put his hands around her throat and choke her.
At that point in time, Dad was taking psychological meds, and he was drinking alcohol on top of that, and he would black out.
So
And
that gives an excuse?
He apologized for that now that he's sober.
Gives no excuse, Emily. He's tried to kill you.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.